Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the D&B Radio Show, where you can hear about card games and card games accessories. I am with Bader. Bader, hey, say what's up.
Hello, everybody.
How's your day gone so far?
Not too bad. Just got home, chilling. Getting excited to talk about the past week or so.
Oh, yeah, of course, talking about locals. Yeah, that's going to happen in the first part of the show. And, of course, talking about the rest of the show. After we talk about locals for a little bit, we're going to play a quick chess game. And after that, I'm going to talk about, regionals, new product, anything else going on here in the next upcoming few weeks. And then after that, we're going to have a small discussion. Normally we're going to have a fishbowl topic, but this week I had a quick topic I kind of wanted to touch over.
Yeah.
Well, did you want me to talk about my locals, or did you want to start and talk about your locals experience?
I think based off of how locals went in order, I think I might have to start.
All right, well, lead us off.
Yeah, so, there was no Supreme Darkness legal for this format, so I decided to not re-sleeve my entire deck. And I brought Blackwing to locals. I was fully expecting to go 0-4. I just wanted to have some fun because I love me some birds. However, I surprisingly went 3-1, only losing round 4 to the only other undefeated player. So my round 1, which is going to be a theme, it was actually just like a flip control deck out runic kind of deck. I'm not exactly sure how to classify it.
Well, he's never going to attack you, and he's using the runic cards, and he's playing the jar cards, so like some sort of runic jar turbo mill deck.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird deck. I won the die roll. I went first. I did my entire Blackwing combo that ends on full armor master, bestial dispatter, the Blackwinged synchro dragon that burns every time they activate it, or every time they resolve a monster effect. The Blackwing that's essentially an effect veiler that was in my hand. The Blackwing that is a targeted destruction of a face-up card that was in the graveyard. And then I had the ability to quick synchro on my opponent's turn from one of the traps. Like, the hand was just, it was all gas. So I took game 1. Game 2, my opponent went first. They set a monster, activated Book of Taiyu, flipped it face up, and it was I think it was Cyber Jar or Fiber Jar. One of the jars that I've never seen. Maybe it was Morphing Jar 2, actually. That's what it was. And I had no clue what this card did. It was like, flip it face up, excavate until you can hit a monster that's like level 5 or lower or something. I'm not exactly sure. I had no clue, and like the text on it was the original printing, so I had no clue what this card did. I had to get the judge to come over. He explained it to me. I was like, okay, I didn't know what the most recent text is. We got it sorted out, and then he had like a trap card that every time a monster is summoned, it switched to attack position, or if its battle's position's changed, it switches to face-up attack. I'm not sure. Yeah, I just pulled it up. If a monster is special summoned while this card is on the field. Okay, so it's for both players. So yeah, he basically just looped Morphing Jar, Cyber Jar, Fiber Jar, I think, which I didn't even know was legal. Honestly, I still don't know if it's legal.
Yeah, no, that's banned.
But I wasn't...
Fiber Jar, the one that resets the game?
Oh, there was a Fiber Jar in his deck. Yeah, and then like he needlewormed me. So he just milled me out and like did some runic cards. Did a runic card that I let resolve because like I was playing 0 hand traps. I was like nothing. Yeah. So I was like, all right, buddy, you got it. We'll go to game 3. My hand is like okay at best. I'm able to set up the Blackwing Full Armor Master and then the trap card that lets me synchro summon on my opponent's turn, I believe. And like that was pretty much it because it was just a very mediocre hand. So I passed to him. He starts his turn, activating Runic Tip during the draw phase, searches for a Runic card, puts his deck down, and then draws for turn. I was like, yep. I was like, hey man, that's not how it works. Like, you're supposed to draw for turn before you activate any cards. He's like, oh no, yeah, but it was in the draw phase, and I was trying to do it, but then you said something. I was like, I didn't say anything, man. Like, you were doing your thing, and I wasn't paying attention to the order because I was looking at one of my cards face down because it's been so long since I've played Black Wings. I had to make sure I could resolve my cards correctly. So after he said Runic Tip to search, I was like, yeah, that's fine. Reading my card, and then I hear him say, "I'll draw for turn." I was like, you can't do that. Eventually, the judge heard him kind of get a little excited, is what I'll say about it. Came over and said, like, that's not how it works. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to play anymore. I didn't come here to play Jeremy Bader today. I don't want to play. I didn't want to play him. I was like, okay. And he conceded because of that miscommunication or whatnot. And for like the next 30 minutes or so, I feel like it might not have actually been 30 minutes, but it felt like it. He was just kind of on a rant about it. And that was my round 1. So 1-0 so far, but round 2 was a little less dramatic, but it was against someone who's kind of like, I don't know, I felt like he was down talking me after winning round 1. Like, yes, the deck that I was playing against wasn't the best. I mean, neither was mine, though. He was playing Kashtira Floodgate Stun, and I won the die roll. I did my insane Black Wing combo, passed. He summoned Unicorn, activated some effects, where I had like my big Black Wing that burns. I nuked his entire field. He's like, oh, I didn't know it could do that. I was like, oh, surprise. I told you that's what it does. Nuke the entire field. I kept my Black Wing full armor, and then I just attacked him for game. Game 2, what was it? I was going second, obviously, so I sided in like Molcharmy Purulias specifically, just to get into draws off of Kashtira summons. During the draw phase, I'm like, all right, Molcharmy Puruli. He's like, okay, set 3, pass. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be rough. He says, draw phase, activate Spooky Dogwood. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I normal summon one of my Black Wings that searches on summon. He chains Skill Drain. I'm like, okay, that is also fine. I attack him for 14, so he's down 2,400 life, and I just pass, and then his life is cut in half. And he just flips his hand over and just shows that it's like a max Metal Morph trap. Just cards that were unplayable. He had Nibiru in hand, and I just didn't play into it because I'm not going to give him life. So he's like, yeah, you got this. So that was nice. Round 3 was against Fiendsmith Ryziel. I lost the die roll, but I didn't have any interruption, but he didn't properly execute his combo to the point where I could break through it with like just pure gasoline. Just go birds. Game 2, he absolutely just bodied me. Like, no contest. Detonator is very good against Black Wings. Game 3, I don't remember, but I know I did most of my Black Wing combo where I ended on full metal armor dragon and the burn monster. And since I was playing the small Zamina package, there's just the 3 wanted, the Silva, the Diabell, like just to make it an Omni negate early. I led with that. He Nibiru'd me. I was like, that's going to have to get negated. I hope you don't have Drill for the rest of the turn. He didn't, so I just continued my Black Wing combo. Passed. I had like the regular board of the guy who's unaffected, the burn effect, and then the quick synchro summon, which summons a guy who pops 2 monsters. And he just couldn't break through it, especially with all the burn. So I got that one. Round 4, same thing. Examina Fiendsmith. Or wait, Fiendsmith Rizio, my bad. I won the die roll, I believe. I looked at my opening hand, and it was the worst hand I have seen in my entire life. I could not put a monster on the field. I had like a level 6 Blackwing that lets you activate Black Whirlwind from the deck and then summon him. I had 2 more Black Whirlwinds in my hand, the Hollowed Examina, and then some other spell. I think it was Call by the Grave. And I was just like, set Call by the Grave, pass. He said, normal summon X Rizio. I said, that's good enough. We can just go to game 2. Didn't even take 3 minutes for our round 1. Or game 1. Game 2, I did my full Blackwing combo. I don't think he opened a hand trap, so I was just free to go. He broke through quite a bit of it, but since I was going going first, game 2, I sided in thrusts and some, I think it was Full Force Virus, which destroys monsters your opponent controls and in their hand with 1500 or less attack or defense, it was whichever one. It was the one that does 1500 or less attack. So he was comboing after breaking through my entire board except for my guy who was unaffected. He gets to his Fiendsmith combo with 2 cards left in hand. He summons the Link to Fiendsmith sequence, activates effects to fuse. I said, that's fine. He said, activate the effect to equip to Desiree. And I'm like, the only way I can out this, because I was at full life and he was at 2400, I said, the only way that I could out this is if I draw a monster for turn. So when he activates the effect, I chain the Full Force Virus to tribute my unaffected Blackwing guy to destroy all monsters he controls and in his hand with 1500 or less attack, which does not let the sequence equip to the Desiree, so it does not resolve the equip. So all he had was a 2400 monster that could attack. So he poked me. I have no cards in the field, no cards in hand. I draw for turn. It's an 800 attack Blackwing. I'm like, dang, I needed anything else. And then I look at my extra deck and I remember I'm playing Typhon. I'm like, ho ho ho. Normal summon. He's like, do you got the Typhon? Slammed it onto the field. He's like, all right, game 3. It was that was probably the highlight, is resolving that. Yeah. Game 3 is pretty one-sided since like even my side deck, I'm not playing like my droplets and my imperms. There's no hand traps that were in my deck aside from exactly Bestials, because it was just something I kind of threw into the night before, so I can't complain. But it was a pretty one-sided game 3. He got it. Even though he and I were the only 2 undefeateds, I still got 5th place after he beat me, just because my tiebreakers felt bad. But you know, yep. But my prize packs were good, and he pulled a card that I wanted. He actually got the QCR Examina White Force monster. So I was like, hey, do you want to trade that? He's like, sure. Cleaned out my binder. That card was like $200 because of pre-release prices. But overall, it was a pretty good locals, and I had good fun with some birds.
Typhon is so good. Just being able to just have like a nothing monster and then being able to turn it into a bounce, and then you have a body to attack with. It's just so good.
Exactly, and with Blackwings, you can so easily. I mean, part of the main combo is locking yourself into only dark monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. So my entire extra deck was just dark monsters. And Typhon happens to be a dark, so it worked out. How was yours, though?
All right, so round 1, I played a friend of ours. I played against Rizio, and I'm playing pure cash. And I don't like playing anything weird. I'm just playing like Desires because Desires is a good card. But he gets to go first, and I think I shifter him, and then I have Imperm, and then he still ends on like Detonator. And then we go. My hand is like Planet, and then like Kashtira Bricks. So I'm not looking at a good hand. I've also discarded 2 cards, but we get to my turn, and I go playing it. You know, he could at any point he could have stopped me, but he's like, he let Planet go. So I'm like, all right, we'll see how far we go with this. I get Unicorn, and then I activate Unicorn, and he activates Detonator. Then he gets Imperm, so I can't activate it to like get like Birth or anything to continue playing. But yeah, so that was round one, and then game two, I get to go first, and my hand is just like all Cashier monsters. Like I think I have like Planet, and I have to get like Unicorn so I can start that way. But the rest of my hand is just like Cashier monsters. And then he has Imperm for Unicorn, and I was like, all right, maybe it was Effect Veiler or something. But yeah, that was basically. I mean, I had Rise Heart in my hand. So I special summoned him, and then I made like Flare Metal, but he had Aggregator, I think. He just did like sent it to the graveyard to like negate it. So that was my round one. My round two was your round one. Oh man, and he was still kind of salty. But our games were okay. I feel like he left our games not as salty as when he left your games. And so he's like I think he gets to go first, and his board is Fountain, and then Hugin, and then a set monster. And I don't know how many cards he has in hand. And I think I have like removal in my hand of some sort. I know I have, it's at least Fenrir. So I'll be able to at least get rid of Fountain as long as it sticks on the board. I think Shifter's alive for it, because I don't think he's getting his runic spells back into his deck, and he's not like doing the drawing thing. I think that's really what shut it off, at least to start anyway. Then we like on my turn, I like remove Hugin, I think, and then like get rid of Fountain, so he doesn't have any way to like interact on my turn, and then I continue my combo and then attack his set monster with Scareclaw Kashtira, because Scareclaw Kashtira can, when it does battle, it negates the monster it battles with. So there's a just easy way to outflip monsters. So that was pretty much game one, but like I don't think it was game that round, because I think I had to pass back to him and he didn't have anything, so he just passed right back, and I'm like, I think he like set a card. I think he set like a runic card that he had in his hand that he was holding, and he summoned a monster before, and I think all I did was like I drew my card. I just like turned my monsters to attack, and it just like went straight to battle. And he like summoned a runic one. I think it might have been Hugin. I don't even remember which one it was, but I just attack into it. I was just like attacking with Ogre because I wasn't even thinking about it. And then it was like, what? All right, well, I'm like trying to actually like see how much damage I'm actually doing to him, and I'm like looking down at my cards and seeing how many attributes and stuff are on the board and all that, and like what my attack powers and stuff are. And like I look up and he's like shuffling his deck, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, quit shuffling your deck. I feel like I have this problem with you like every week, every time I play you. And it's not like it's not relevant, because like I have Kashtira Ogre where I can see the top 5 cards of your deck, and then like it's like relevant, and so is like you shuffling your deck is like, it's like a huge problem. So I pretty much got it, like he scooped there anyway, because it was pretty much game regardless. And then game 2, he goes first again. He sets up the exact same board of Runic Fountain, Hugin into Feds, and then set monster. And then I got to side, and I just sided into like Dusters and Dark Hole and stuff like that. And I think I drew Lightning Storm and like a Dark Hole. So I just Dark Hole and blew up all of the stuff, and then just destroyed Fountain, and then just went to combo, and I attacked and I killed him. So it was a pretty easy, just like 1-2, it's over. Um, but yeah, I don't. I feel like I said. I feel like he left that game at less salty. I don't know if it was just like he really had no chance to get salty because his whole strategy was just shut down by my deck of removal and Scareclaw Kashtira. Um, but my round 3, I played against plants, and I set up 2 Chang on my turn, and then I just didn't get to lock enough zones fast enough. So I had he had 2 monsters, and I locked the other 3 monster zones, but he had a way to get to the spell that tributes one of my monsters, and he was able to continue playing from there. That was game 1, and game 2, I set up roughly the same board, but I think I hit. I think I maybe used Scareclaw Cashier's special summon ability, and I got. I hit I banished the Theosis, and I got Big Bang back, so I had it for my turn. And he had droplets, so I just activated Big Bang, so I at least had something for the turn. And I only had 1 Shang at that point, but I had something, but it wasn't really enough to win me the game, and he won from that one. So my game 3, I played against. Let's see, that was my game 3. So my game 4, I lost my game 3. My round 4, I played against Zombie Eldritch, and man, I feel like I play against this person every week, and man, and I just feel like Cashier just is meant to beat Eldritch. It's so good. As long as they don't have skill drain, I'm playing Shifter, so he's great. He's never gonna have a graveyard. I'm gonna banish his face up cards, and Golden Lord's ability stops them from taking stop him from being destroyed by battle or battle or card effect or something like that, but it doesn't stop him from targeting, and Fenrir targets and then just banishes it face down. So it's pretty good. It's I feel like it's kind of unfair, but it's good. So I win that one. And yeah, I win the night 2-2. I had a lot of fun, had a good time out, and just enjoyed hanging out with the friends, like always.
Not much time has passed in this match.
No, it was a very fast one. Oh man, there you go.
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to see if there's a best way to do this. I think, just the discover check might be the best. Oh no, Dylan.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
There you go. All right. That was rough.
Had to make sure I didn't miss anything. I was like, oh.
Whoop.
Oh.
And we closed.
Oh heavens.
And we closed it. Woof. All right. Back to this one. All right. We can't go over a chess match, but it was just it was all right until we just blundered twice. All right.
Yeah. We both didn't have too high of an ELO though, if that makes you feel better.
No, it's okay. We'll move on. Is there any sort of regionals or events going on besides obviously locals that we got Pokemon coming up, obviously Flesh and Blood pre-release coming up? Anything else that we got? Obviously Tengo Plant. What is Tuesday's Pegasus League?
Yeah, Tuesday is a hat format.
Tuesday's
Hands,
hat.
artifacts, and trap tricks.
Cool. Well, is there any sort of like regionals coming up?
Honestly, not that I know of. Not that I plan on going to, anyways. I think next week is a YCS, but I could be wrong. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest. I don't plan on going to any regionals soon, though.
Yeah, I'm not really looking at any sort of regionals or any sort of like big events. I'm just big chilling at locals.
Locals is the best.
Yeah, that's what's up. Oh yeah, I mean, and prizing honestly is probably better at locals than
Yeah.
any Yu-Gi-Oh regional.
Yeah. Judge hooks us up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I guess if that's the case, we've kind of gone over some of the hunted stuff already, so I'll wait till next week until we actually have some cards to show off on maybe a pre-release deck or something like that. Maybe we can go over. Maybe actually that's probably a cool idea. Is I show off my pre-release deck. Yeah, maybe look for that next week.
Heck yeah.
But I guess we're gonna move on to the fishbowl topic of the week. It's a question from the fishbowl. Yeah, we're singing every round. Everything is getting singing now. All right, well, to this week, we are not going to choose a question from the fishbowl. We're just going to kind of go over players being salty and kind of what to do when you have to play against a salty player.
Yeah, the relevance.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like it'll happen. It's going to happen, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like things don't go the way people expect it to, and sometimes I get a little upset about it. Obviously, our experience, but I mean, there's a news story not too terribly long ago about someone fighting somebody over some cards, and then like it's just I can't even think. Like I'm sure I could find the stories, but like is card games really worth getting in a fist fight over?
Back during Trickstar format, sometimes it felt like it.
You really got to fight somebody for saying
for that 200 for drawing.
Duel reincarnation, where that was rough. All right, cool.
Reincarnation chain roll
on res, yeah, or yeah, Joel Mockford busted. Oh yeah, that the Lily Bell loop with Firewall, like that deck does a bunch of degenerate stuff. Well, I guess it can't do the Firewall thing anymore, but it did do that. Don't forget. But yeah, sometimes people get salty. Obviously it's a children's card game, so you try not to, but it happens from time to time. And things you should do and things you should not do when you had to play one of those players, especially in the sense of like I had to play them right after you did, and I was like, my first thing I'm thinking is like, don't piss them off more. Just don't, like, because it's like there's no reason to tilt a player you already know is already like super tilted. Like you don't need to make it worse. It's first of all, just try to be nice to that person, because like you already, like I said, you already know that they're on edge, and just don't need to make it worse.
You never know what's gonna cause a trigger and cause a switch to flip where they just like grab your card and I don't know, eat it or something.
Yeah,
maybe they sell one too many Fenrirs in their day.
I mean, Fenrir, Shifter, I mean, they're all pretty edible.
I would eat a Shifter just to get it banned.
I'm sure. Oh man. Yeah, don't the main thing is don't intentionally just make it worse. I mean, if something in the game like sets them off, like that's going to be beyond your control, don't worry about it, but just don't intentionally do it. Like
yeah, I'll go over a little bit of how I try to resolve the tilt with my opponent and I,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we're upset, saying that they're just going to scoop so they don't have to deal with anything. And honestly, I respect that. That is a very mature thing to do. I was in a previous or situation like that previously with someone else at our locals. I at the time had no interest in playing that person. Every time that person and I played, I was just immediately in a bad mood. So I told our judges, like, if we're paired up, just give my opponent the win or the win. I'm not trying to raise any more salt than what's possible. Granted, that person has now, I think, figured out how to interact in I don't want to word this wrong, a less irritating way.
Okay.
But yeah, like I've got no more problems with them. So like I can play this person just fine anymore, and I'll even laugh like about a loss. Aside the note, after playing this previous opponent from Tuesday, they were clearly upset. I was like, oh, okay, you want to scoop? That's fine. I told the judge I got it, and he was rambling on like, I didn't come here to play Jeremy Bader round one. And I was like, I'm sorry, I just didn't understand what you were doing. He's like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll be quiet then. And then he just kind of kept repeating he didn't want to talk to me, so I was trying to stay quiet, not say anything. I mean, I do obviously kind of want to talk about it because, yes, getting tilted is, as the person, it's super frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of something that you chuckle about as the opponent a little bit, though. Like, when I've been tilted, I know my opponent is probably internally thinking, like, wow, this dude is just a pillar of salt.
I mean, yeah,
But
especially if you're being loud about it. Like,
yeah,
everybody's going to look over because it's like, I mean, first you have a judge call, everybody's already going to look over because the room's not that big, so everyone hears it. So if you're getting salty and you're being loud, everybody's going to hear it, and most of the time it's over something stupid, so it's funny.
Yeah, and like I try not to make the joke in front of them. Like, obviously, when like you and a couple other like closer friends came up, I was just like, feel bad, but it was kind of funny. But it is still something I do feel bad about. Like, it's never my intention to go out of my way to upset someone because this truly is like a game I really do love. Like, I have so much fun playing this. Yes, I get tilted sometimes. Someone at our locals who kept puppet locking me, raw locking me. Still great friends with them, but boy, did I wanna throw fists and cards. Not actually throw fists for Konami's sake. That's a joke. I promise. We've never fought.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just like, obviously this is the place where you're gonna come play people, and like you want to keep coming to a place and you have people at least respect you to a point. Like, don't act a fool. Like,
Yeah,
there's no need for it. And yeah, if you do something funny, people are gonna laugh. And sometimes people think things are funny when I mean, it's actually really upsetting for you. So just, I don't know.
just being mindful of your reaction.
It's hard to be in that situation, but yeah, it's tough because obviously that person's very emotional about the game, and obviously, like you said, you show like you respect, like you have a lot of deep love for the game, so you don't want to like see people leave it for no reason or just because they got upset over whatever being happening.
Yeah, I don't want to see a post that says Jeremy Bader is the reason why I quit Yu-Gi-Oh. That's not going to feel good on me.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the big thing. Like, I don't know. Obviously, you got to see it from both sides too. Like, don't, if you're gonna be salty, at least maybe apologize to the person later, or at least understand that you were being salty and that you shouldn't. I mean, I don't know, reel it back next time.
Yeah, like history with my salty attitudes. There was one where I was out of line. I did apologize to that person because it was honestly a bit excessive. Like, no bad words or anything that could be like taken out of context potentially was said. It was just basically like, I'm not a fan of you, and there's some other people that are not a fan of you. I have said that. I did apologize because that's truly a very mean thing to do, and I did feel bad afterwards. But for like any more recent salt things, I just try to put my deck back into my deck box as quickly as I can so I can step away so I can cool my head down, because I'm not trying to bring that negativity onto someone else. Like, and fortunately, my opponent could tell that I was upset about it. They said, I don't think they said anything actually. They could just say, or they could just see that I was salty, so they just remained quiet. I feel like sometimes after putting someone into a salty mentality, saying "good game" makes it worse, because then that's just opening the door for them to say, "No, it
Ruined.
wasn't."
Yeah.
And like it's just a couple key things you gotta keep in mind after either being salty or having salted someone else. It's just sometimes it's just best to step away.
One big thing, another key thing I would say is after your game, if you beat somebody and they're salty about it, don't yell across the room, "Judge, I got it." Like that just I like just walk over to the judge and tell them that you got it. Like
Yeah.
it's better for everybody, so they can at least look you in the face, and when you're saying "I got it," and it's just, they know the voice. Sure, like I mean, obviously a lot of us are there all the time, but like walking up to them and just saying, "Hey, I got it," so you don't have to yell across the room and like potentially salt put a little bit more salt in the wound, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's having salt like having a salty opponent is kind of a rough situation, because obviously, yeah, it's kind of funny, but like don't don't push it.
Yeah. It's never my goal to make someone salty, and I definitely don't want to make it worse. But again, like you said, it is a little funny sometimes, because we've all been there.
It's
I
over.
don't.
It's over cardboard. Like, is it really worth it? Like, most of the time, no, it's really not. It's so yeah. That's most of the time is if you're salty. Most of the time, it's over something stupid, and like it might not even be over the card games. It might just be like you're hungry or something, and then you're just like taking it out on somebody else over whatever small thing that you get the chance to. So just be mindful, you know, try not to get salty over cardboard, and if you do, you know, be okay with the consequences of people laughing at you.
Yeah. Step away. People will probably not laugh as you at hard,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure our friend group knows when I get salty. It's kind of hard to laugh at someone who just steps away and keeps quiet, pulls their head down. They're gonna like, oh, at least he's taking it kind of well.
Yeah, it's rough, and it's like you don't like seeing people like that, but I mean, just I don't know, be careful, don't the main thing is don't go out of your way to piss people off, and especially when they're already mad. So I think this is a good place to hang it up for the night. I think I mean I really don't have anything more to add to don't make players salty.
Yeah, just be nice. Support your locals.
Yeah, show up. I mean, obviously that locals is the place where you're gonna get salty, so keep that environment safe, and as salt free as possible. So in addition to that, try not to use heavy dice, floodgate responsibly. Um, don't
Don't get slow played.
don't get slow played, the original. Uh, but for myself and for Bader's, got any other parting words?
Just stay happy, stay healthy. Don't stay salty.
All right, and for myself, I'm gonna say have a good night or good morning or whenever you're watching this. Bye.
Goodbye, friends.